Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Hey, I want to point something out to you.
To me?
Yes, to you.
All right.
Before we get started, I want to
Point it out.
Yep. Do you see what time the clock says up there?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Early. We're early. Oh, now we're on time.
No. Look at the clock.
What about it?
What time do we do the podcast?
12.
What time does it say?
12.
No, it says 11.
No, the clock's wrong. Clock's been wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Ever since daylight saving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I said that 2 weeks ago.
I know. We still have the incorrect time on the clock. Like, how long ago is daylight savings?
Where is that? That shouldn't be that hard to fix,
Right. It shouldn't be. Apparently it is. Okay, let's go ahead and share all these posts out, and then we'll get started here. I'm looking for it. I don't see it, Paul. Paul said we're live. I think Paul's lying. Oh, there it is. See it. Paul, you're lying. Don't lie, Paul.
2 weeks ago.
I know. We still, liar, have the incorrect time. Mute that. All right, everybody, we're getting started here in just a sec. Paul O'Neill, Cole Pierce, Shelby Kelly, Derek Adams. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
I shared to my timeline. Now I'm going to share this to my page. I'm going to share it on Twitter, and then we're going to get started as soon as Theriot shares all my shares. Or if Theriot would just be a little proactive. All right, here we go. The Riot podcast is live. The Riot podcast with me and at our Theriot7 is live. Watch right there. Boop. Okay. I didn't bring headphones. I'm an idiot.
Idiot.
Stupid.
What an idiot.
What is this, amateur hour? What is this? A center for ants? It has to be at least 2 times this big. There's some Zoolander. Did you ever see Zoolander?
Yeah, I saw it.
I don't believe you. I think you're lying to me. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Did you share it? Are you texting?
I'm sharing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Paul, ready? Everybody ready?
Ready when you are, Matt.
All right, here we go.
This is the Riot Podcast with Matt Moscona and Ryan Theriot. One is an athlete, the other an athletic supporter. Follow the guys on Twitter at Matt Moscona and at rtheriot7. Here's Matt and Ryan. Okay,
Riot Podcast, let's get it. I'm Matt, he's Ryan. Thank you for being here. If you're listening, thank you. If you're watching, thank you. If you're watching live, thank you. If you're not familiar, every Tuesday, noon Central on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge Facebook page. We fire up a Facebook Live so you can watch us live as we do this. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So Major League Baseball season started. So I was really surprised because when we talked today, you were like, hey, let's just go all LSU baseball today on the podcast. I was like, no kick rocks? And you said, no. No Ryan's Wise?
That's canceled.
No. Never again?
No.
Never say never.
May do it again. If the opportunity presents itself.
Okay.
We could do it.
No love for Kim Mulkey?
Bro, watch this.
What?
What?
You're showing me your phone. What? Did she text you?
No, I texted her last night.
Oh.
And she texted me right back.
Oh, because they made the Final Four,
yep.
Baylor women.
Yep.
Are you the one secretly pushing for Kim Mulkey to be the next LSU basketball coach, men's basketball coach?
Not secretly. I mean, I'll go out.
You're all for it.
I'm all in. Okay. Yeah, she's a winner.
What about
she wins?
What about no crushing today on septuagenarians like Gail Benson?
I don't know what you just said.
People in their 70s.
Oh. Okay. No.
No, none of that today?
Nah.
Just baseball. Not even pro baseball, because Major League Baseball started this weekend.
You talk a little MLB, but I want to go hard LSU. I do.
What do you want to do?
It's a big deal. We'll talk some Tigers. I mean, look, there's a lot of interesting developments going on right now. Your closer that was like the focal point of the College World Series is now not your closer anymore.
Well, they didn't make the College World Series last year. They just went to regionals and lost.
Is that where did he hit the ball?
The SEC tournament.
Okay, that guy.
Yeah,
the SEC tournament. Yeah, that guy with the glasses and did all that stuff.
No, that was Zach Hess. That was 2 years ago. No, you're confusing Zach Hess and Todd Peterson is what you're doing.
The guy that hit the bombs.
That's Todd Peterson.
There we go.
And that happened last year in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, close enough.
2 years ago, Zach Hess was Wild Thing, wore the glasses. That was in Omaha.
Yeah. Right, like I said, that guy. So he's not the closer anymore.
Nope, neither of them are.
That was good. So we could talk about that. I think that's interesting. You're seeing some developments offensively. These guys came around last weekend. I think that's interesting.
How about I'll guide us a little bit here, okay? How about this?
I got one more thing, and then you can go.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Big injury in the middle of the lineup.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the offense, and then we'll go to pitching and defense, okay?
Okay.
And I have a bunch of things that I want to talk about. First of all,
you know the AFF is done.
It's the AAF, the Alliance of American Football, not the AFF.
Yeah, same thing.
Brush up on your sports
done.
guy.
It's done.
It's not done.
Yeah, it's suspended.
Okay.
Good talk.
Collectively, thank you. Collectively, LSU struck out 42 times in 3 games last weekend. How in the world does a team like LSU strike out 42 times over 3 games? 42 times you don't even put the ball in play.
It's an approach. And we've talked about approach on this show quite a bit. It's an approach to the actual at bat. It's valuing the at bat. It's understanding that there's 27 outs that have to be made in order to finish a game. And it's also understanding that the strikeout is the easiest one for the opposing team to get. Like, nobody has to catch the ball. Nobody has to throw the ball. It's not valuing moving the defense or making the pitcher work or understanding that the game of baseball is more than just pitch it, catch it, hit it. Like, there's other things that are going on that allow the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning to transpire in a different way. And I've always approached each at bat as if it were the last one that I was going to have. Physically, I don't have the tools. I wasn't given the tools to be able to go up there and just take pitches off or take at bats off. So I had to really lock in during each at bat. When you see guys start to punch out like this over and over and over and over and over and 17 times in a game, it's not truly taking that at bat personally and understanding what implications that at bat could have later on in the game.
So give me an example.
A 3 or 4 pitch strikeout in the first inning. Okay? Let's just say leading off a game. Your leadoff guy strikes out on 4 pitches.
So that happened on Thursday against Ethan Small. By the way, Small is awesome. I don't think we should minimize how good. I mean, State's pitching staff leads the SEC in strikeouts for a reason. But that happened. The first 2 guys struck out with Josh Smith and Duplantis, and Watson. Then Duplantis walked, and then Cabrera hit a homer. But let's talk about how that game started on Thursday with Smith and Watson striking out.
Okay. So a couple things happen when your leadoff guy and your second guy strike out. And it depends on how many pitches they saw and all that stuff as well. But let's just assume it was a quick at bat, 4 or 5 pitches, punch out. You've allowed that pitcher to get into a rhythm. You've allowed the defense to stay fresh and stay on their toes and not have to move. But more importantly, you haven't given your team the ability to see what that pitcher is going to do, how he's going to throw, how he's going to approach the hitters that day. So I hit first or second pretty much my whole career, okay? My first at-bat of every game, although I would love to get a hit, every at-bat. But my first at-bat every single game, I had a couple things that I wanted to happen, all right? First and foremost, I wanted to see every pitch that pitcher was going to throw. Not for my sake, but for my teammates' sake. I wanted them to see the sequence that was getting ready to happen. I wanted them to see what breaking ball he was going to go to in a count which he could strike me out. I wanted to see what pitch he was going to start me off with. I wanted them to game plan their at-bats according to my at-bat. And it was taught to me from Skip, hey, man, listen, I want you to get a hit. I want you to get on base and steal second or hit a double. Like I want that. But at the very least, that guy's got to throw 7, 8, 9 pitches this at-bat. And you get him uncomfortable. You put him in a position where the pitcher just goes, okay, look, here's fastball away. I'm just tired of this at-bat. Hit your single to right field, go to first, just go away. So that's how I would approach the early at-bats in the game. And when you give the pitcher, you let him off the hook, man. You either swing at the first 2 pitches and make out. You know, even sometimes you could swing at the first 1 or 2 pitches and get a hit. But you didn't set yourself up for later on in the game, because I may be coming up in the 6th or 7th inning with runners on base, but I've only seen 2 pitches from this guy, and I hadn't seen his breaking ball yet. I'd rather hit the single in the 7th with bases loaded than the single in the 1st with nobody on. So it's just a forward thinking.
So to start the game, Josh Smith went strike looking, ball, strike looking, sit down, 4 pitches. Watson was next, strike looking, swinging, 3 pitches down. Yeah. Duplantis walked, and he saw 1, 2, 3, 4. He saw 7 pitches, and then Cabrera homered on the second pitch he saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, what are the odds that a homer's going to be hit? You know what I'm saying? Like,
with Cabrera, I like it.
Okay, what are the odds though?
I don't know.
1 out of 10.
But he's still batting 4th.
1 out of 20.
But he was in that situation. I liked him. I liked him hunting fastball and hammering at that spot, because your opportunities were going to be few and far between, and he connected.
1,000%.
A couple of things offensively on the weekend. Well, let's talk about Cabrera since we're there. What can you tell us about his injury? I know. Look, we all know you've known Daniel forever. I met Daniel Cabrera when he was a high school student at Curtis,
yeah.
Because I'd be working out at Traction, and he'd drive up from New Orleans every morning to work out with you at Traction.
See the hit doctor.
So yeah. I mean, like, let's not pretend like you don't know Daniel Cabrera and have a relationship there. So what can you tell us?
Just called, made an appointment with the hit doctor, and that's kind of how that worked. It's okay. You can say that. You go see the hit doctor up in Baton Rouge.
How about you just fix his hand?
You go see the
wrist.
I'm not like
a wrist.
Not the medical doctor.
Oh, you're not the medical doctor.
Yeah. I would say more of a hand than wrist.
Like you're pointing on the outside of your hand?
Yeah. Like in that area.
Wait, there or there?
There.
Okay, and there?
I'd say
he's doing that in there, right there.
Rand. It's his rand.
His rand?
Yep.
His wrist hand?
Yep.
Did you combine wrist and hand?
Mm-hmm.
Would you spell that W-R-A-N-D or R-A-N-D?
W.
You do W for the wrist.
Yeah.
Not his hist?
I like
his hist?
No, I like rand.
You're so stupid. All right. Go.
I mean, basically, I'd say overuse type injury. I mean, it's been bugging him for about 3 weeks now. And I can tell you this, on the pitches away that he would have to reach for, that was when he would really feel the kind of sharp, twinge. And he's not a guy that's going to make excuses either. But, it got to a point where he was like, bro, like if it wasn't middle in, if I had to like reach for it and really snap my wrist through the zone, like really, really hurt. So he had an at bat and kind of
Friday.
Yeah. And
it was late. I saw it. It was late in the game, and he swung and missed at a pitch. And
yeah.
you could see him go like shake his hand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was. I don't think many people knew it, but it was late in the game on game 2.
Yeah, and it's been bothering for a while. And look, he's not a guy that strikes out. Like, he's not a strikeout guy. But when you have something like that you're guarding against and that you're thinking about, I mean, obviously it's going to be in the back of your mind. You're hunting like the perfect pitch, and sometimes you just, take the focus off the pitcher. But so I mean, he's getting it addressed and taken care of. I know he's gone through some treatment procedures, with the guys, and there's some really, really good doctors out there. So I wouldn't really expect to see him this week, shut down probably from swinging, and it's just a rest thing now. I think the treatment that he's doing doesn't allow for you to really do anything. Not that he can or can't physically right now, but I think that what they're doing, you just need the time to rest. So nothing long-term from the MRI apparently, so nothing long-term, but just rest and ligament, tendon, inflammation type deal.
So who bats fourth with him? And here's hoping he's back for the A&M series this week. I think that's our hope. So who bats fourth in his stead? Would you bat Reed there? It's probably what he's going to do.
No, I mean, I'd bat Reed second, personally. Second or seventh.
And he's only batted fourth or fifth.
Yeah. Who would bat fourth? I mean,
it's going to be Reed. I mean, that's what Paul's going to do. I guess unless you put C.J. Willis there.
I was going to say, you could slide Willis there. Yeah, I will say this about Willis, man. Last series, he was a...
That's next.
Okay. All right, well, we'll stop. We'll stop on that one. Yeah, I probably wouldn't put Reed at in the 4-hole. Just because the sequence you just talked about, strikeout, walk, homer, doesn't happen if Reed's hitting there.
It's single, maybe, or walk.
Strikeout, walk, single, and then you hope the next guy.
Right.
You know, so you need a guy there that can do damage. I mean, you know, Beloso. I consider Beloso there maybe.
Beloso's batting 150
I realize that.
In conference
but
play.
He can drive the ball out of the yard, you know, and so, you know, who do you want up there with the
and Beloso may not even be in the game.
I think he is.
But if Willis is playing first, I guess
who plays left? I think
with Cabrera out,
left.
DiGiacomo plays left. So I guess you could play. You're going to play DiGiacomo in left. You're going to play Willis at first. You could DH Beloso or the other catcher essentially. If Mathis is catching, you could DH Garza.
Yeah, righty pitching. I think you'll see the lefty.
All right, let's talk about C.J. Willis.
So I mean, when I say just like a click off, just like a millimeter off this weekend. You know, and he obviously added a spark to the lineup. Had some good productive at bats, moved some runners, had some RBIs, had some foul balls, and me kind of knowing what I'm looking at with the swing and the approach to these guys, I think it was just kind of an adrenaline thing where he was super amped up to be in the lineup and get consistent at bats. Just a millimeter early, barely early on some fastballs, even some breaking balls as well. You know, I fully expect as he continues to get repeated at bats, you're gonna see this kid really start to swing the bat. It's a simple adjustment. It is just hey man, trust your hands. Just stay back a little bit longer. You know, and with him, it's you almost want the ball to beat you, like feel like it's by you, and then trust that your hands can catch up because he is just a touch in front. The swing's good, his balance is good, everything looks good. I mean, this kid's a 6'2", 6'3", good-looking athlete, power, fast twitch muscles, good hands, can run a little bit. You know, you want to get him in the lineup and you want to get him going because there's a lot of things he can do on the field that can help.
The other thing, and it's odd to hear you say, kind of be dismissive of his weekend because I took a ton of positives from it. Like on Friday, he had the pinch hit on Thursday, the double, which we talked about. He went opposite field, just kind of flicked the bat and hit an opposite field gapper. I mean, that's impressive. But in game 2, he had a ground ball to the right side, which got a run home. He hit a deep sac fly to center, which got a run home. And then he had an RBI single in the late innings as well. I mean, you go and have 3 run-producing at-bats. I don't care if you're hitting it out of the yard or hitting the ground ball to the right side or flying out to center. I mean, you're producing runs for an offense that had been struggling to produce runs. I guess maybe I looked at it differently. I thought he was overwhelmingly the positive story offensively this week. I mean, Chris Reed had a great weekend. Don't misunderstand. He was 6 of 8, and I mean, he was awesome this weekend. But maybe because Willis came out of nowhere to be super productive in a lineup that wasn't producing. I mean, are we getting ahead of ourselves with Willis? Like, is it too small of a sample to be excited?
So in the fall, I mean, he was the guy. He had a great fall. I mean, this is a kid that if you ask any of those players going into the Christmas break who's going to be playing first base, it would have been Willis. You know, coming back off the break, he really struggled for whatever reason and you know, kind of lost that spot to Beloso. So the skill is there. I don't think anybody on LSU's team right now is surprised because they've been watching this kid swing the bat, you know, forever. No, you're not getting ahead of yourself. I don't think you've seen even close to what this kid can do.
There's and Steven asked a comment about Willis catching. Now, my understanding...
He's caught, yeah.
No, he's caught, and he's played outfield as well. My understanding is, though, the labrum issue he had in high school, it has prevented him maybe from doing some of that throwing, playing in the outfield or catching. Do you know anything about that?
I don't.
Okay, because I know that's why. Like he had a torn labrum in high school, which
sucks.
Yeah, but that's kind of why he's here too. I mean, he might have been high draftable prospect, but for the injury, and that's really, I mean, look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Look at him.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like a really put together athlete. So maybe that's one of the reasons why he's not there. It's just, hey man, go stand on first base and stretch out and catch the ball. And
now is not the time you experiment with the guy behind the plate.
Yeah.
You don't want to change that up on your pitching staff. They're comfortable with Mathis. Mathis has obviously struggled a little bit throwing runners out, but does a great job calling a game and blocking balls and receiving. So, I mean, there are some good positives there. And you mess with the pitcher's psyche, man, when you change up the catchers. I've seen catchers on major league teams that are only there to catch one pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And my buddy Paul Bacco, and he'll tell you, like, Greg Maddux elongated Paul Bacco's career because Maddux is the one that caught him. Everywhere he went, he wanted Bacco back there putting the fingers down and catching him. So, that trust with the catcher is important. I don't think you'll see him back there, but I do think, Matt, we are only scratching the surface on the potential of this kid. And my message to him has been slow everything down. And young hitters will get in that rut of swinging the bat super hard. They want to do well so bad. Take CJ. CJ's a great example of this. It's looking like he's going to start. He gets a couple ABs here or there. He knows if he gets a hit, he might get back in the lineup. So he's trying so hard to get a hit. The swing is a more aggressive, harder swing than he normally would have. Look, and Barry Bonds said it best. Barry and I had the same agent, and so I've had the chance to talk to him about hitting quite a bit. But 65, 70% tops is as hard as you ever swing. And you'll listen to all the good hitters and watch a big league game. Watch how balanced they are throughout their swing and their ability to repeat their swing. Well, in order to repeat your swing, it cannot be max effort, ever. You get a hitter 3-1, and a fastball's coming, or 2-0, and a fastball's coming, and you come out of your shoes because you want to try to hit a homer, you foul it straight back every single time. So when he learns to kind of neck it back a little bit, and you just say flick the wrist and hit a double, that's all he's got to do. The second he goes, okay, let me just slow down and repeat my swing, you're going to start to see that.
I want to talk about the catchers with Mathis and Garza, because 2 weeks ago, the feeling was, okay, well, as soon as Mathis couldn't throw anybody out, as soon as Garza comes back, he makes LSU better defensively at catcher. He's in the lineup. Mm-hmm. Well, he's caught in spots, and it doesn't really feel like he's made them better defensively, which is why he hasn't been in there, quite honestly. Mm-hmm. What do you see with those two behind the plate? Yeah,
I mean, I think what you just said, I think Sowell may have a little bit of a stronger arm, but I am seeing Mathis. I'm looking at the little things with him right now. And I'm trying not to get caught up in the fact that guys have a ton of bags on him. But yeah, Garza hasn't been catching in a while. This knee thing has really hurt him. It may take him a couple weeks, a month or so to get his legs back under him, and have the ability to get down there and block the balls and pop up and throw runners out. I mean, I would imagine it's going to take some time to get him there, but you're right. The influx in defense with Garza behind the plate rather than Mathis, you haven't seen it. And so you got two options if you're LSU. You try to get one of those guys going offensively. You do your best to get one of those guys going to where it's not a liability defensively, and then you're an out in the lineup. So, I mean, one of them's going to have to go ahead and take the reins.
Okay, so it's easy to say that, but what if it doesn't happen? I mean, Mathis is batting 179, bro. In 78 at-bats, he's got 14 hits.
Right.
Garza is batting 233. He's got 43 at-bats. So 10 hits and 43 at-bats right now. Garza has struck out 13 times. Maybe that's but then Mathis has struck out 21 times. Mm-hmm. Neither of these guys is getting on base. Mathis has a 293 on base percentage. Garza is at 294, so they're only a point apart there. It's like they're the same guy right now.
Correct.
They're the same guy.
Yep.
So
you put the guy back there
that's the better defensive catcher,
or that the pitchers feel comfortable with.
And that all right, let's look offensively at both of them. Mm-hmm. Let's start with Garza, who I know we've talked about a bunch, but What does it take for Saul Garza, who came in with much fanfare, hit 23 homers in JUCO last year? What is he doing wrong? Like, what does it take to get this guy going?
I think it's simplifying his approach. I think it's saying, okay, go out there today, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to do X, whatever that may be.
Well, what does that mean? Give me an example.
Okay. For example, who's the greatest shortstop of all time, in your opinion? I know who you're going to say.
Well, if you're saying defensive, it's not Jeter, but I could say Jeter.
Jeter.
Okay.
He's the guy, the captain, El Capitan.
You wanted me to say Jeter.
Yeah. This is what the captain did. Every at-bat, he had one thing he was trying to do. Hit the ball over the second baseman's head. That's it. Didn't matter where the pitch was. Didn't matter what pitch it was. Didn't matter who was pitching. His focus was, I'm hitting a line drive over the second baseman's head. Sometimes it went over the fence that side. Sometimes it went in the 4-hole. Sometimes he pulled it. But his focus was real simple. I'm hitting it over the second baseman's head. And we saw it hundreds of times where Roger Clemens would throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball on Derek Jeter's hands, and he would pull his hands inside the ball and boop, shoot it over the second baseman's head. Right? Amazing that he could do that. That's why he's...
But Clemens and Jeter played for the same team.
Not all the time.
Most of the time.
No, not all the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. They've got at-bats. Absolutely. Blue Jays. Yeah. Sox. There's at-bats there. Yeah, I'm sure. Dude, Jeter started playing early. Regardless, you get the point. When Garza gets up to the plate, you simplify his approach, okay? And look, you're okay with him. You got it? I thought you were getting ready to interrupt.
Clemens last year in Boston was 96.
Okay.
And then he went to Toronto. So Jeter obviously was with the Yankees already in 96.
Yeah.
Maybe one season he saw some at-bats with Boston.
Yeah, so he's 30 at-bats against him?
Maybe. You don't remember any of that from 96?
I was right. I was right.
You don't remember any of that from 96?
Was that right?
Why wouldn't you go with a more definitive example of someone who Jeter saw 300 times?
Was that right there? Or?
I mean, okay, but you lucked into that one.
Not really. I mean,
if you ask anybody who did Clemens play for, they're going to say the Yankees.
I mean, I remember him with the Sox.
I do too.
Yeah.
But his best, well, not even his best years, but his championship years were all with the Yankees, and that's what he's most known for.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like him with the Sox. Regardless.
Okay.
What I do with Garza is I simplify his approach. What I would not do with Garza, or any of these hitters for that matter, is say, we're going to go out here and pull the ball today. Let's pull the baseball. That's what I would not do. That's why you see 17 strikeouts a game. Okay? And it is
Why don't you want to pull it?
Obvious to me that that's what's being said right now, or that's the message. When I see these guys swing the bat, I'm going, all they're trying to do is pull the ball. It's real simple. If I'm thinking pull as a right-handed hitter, I'm taking the left field line to the left center field, and that's where I'm trying to hit it. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. If a pitcher throws me a breaking ball, I'm either going to hit it foul or I'm going to swing and miss because I'm never looking for the breaking ball. If you ever look breaking ball, you are a moron. If you look breaking ball, then you can't hit the fastball. And what the pitcher's going to throw most of the time is fastball. I've got roughly 8,000 at-bats in the major leagues, okay? I can count on two hands how long, many times I looked breaking ball. Maybe one hand. Carlos Marmol I did because I played with him and I knew what he was going to throw me, and I would sit slider. But that's it. I mean, you never sit breaking ball and you never look to pull because it limits your ability to handle the other pitches. The reason why I use Derek Jeter is he was so good because he could take that fastball on the inner third of the plate and shoot it the other way. So his hands stayed inside the baseball, which meant his barrel was behind his hands. So at any point during that at-bat with his barrel behind his hands, he could adjust to a changeup, a slider, or a curveball because his barrel is behind his hands. It's a simple flick of the wrist, okay? If the barrel ever creeps out in front of the hands, now you can only hit one pitch. Whatever pitch that is you're looking for, that's the only one you can hit. It gives you zero ability to adjust if the barrel gets even or in front of your hands. You always want to approach the baseball with the barrel behind the hands, and then you adjust as the ball comes to whatever your eyes tell you to do. When I see guys swinging and missing, swinging over balls out in front, weight going forward, it tells me one of two things. Either they're trying to pull everything, which generally is what's happening, or they're just out in front of the pitch. And it's not even on the pitches that they're out in front of. You can see the approach if you watch a hitter's head and watch where his eyes go when he swings and misses. Most of the time, it'll tell you where he was trying to hit the ball.
What about Mathis?
How do you fix it?
Yeah.
Real simple. And I'm going to get a little technical on you. But the most important move in the swing is the move that starts your swing. An object in motion stays in motion, blah, blah, blah. We've heard that before.
It's inertia. Yeah.
So, weight goes
An
back.
object at rest tends to stay at rest.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Most of the time. Yeah. Shout out Broadmoor High School.
But you didn't know that I did, so shout out Cali High! I made a D in biology.
What I mean. So, if I'm hitting.
Only D I ever made in my life. That's not true. Econ at LSU. I took it in summer school.
I got a D in econ.
I had
I want to fight the teacher.
I had
too.
a Russian teacher. I couldn't understand a word she said. Thick accent, brutal subject matter, summer class. I just wanted to get the credit and get out of there. Made a D. I was like, just give me my D.
You get a credit for that? You get a credit for D?
Yeah. As long as you pass. And I think my D was like a 56. And they gave me a D. Like, that was a D. Crazy.
The curve?
I guess.
Very good. Yeah, that teacher sucked, whoever that
Yeah, it
was.
was brutal. Brutal.
Okay,
All right, how do you fix it?
Okay, so first move that you make, like I said, was the load. So, a lot of people do this differently. The hands will start to swing, hands go back, weight goes back, whatever. I'm not a stickler on how that happens, but something has to start the movement back in order to get the hands moving, right, and the body going. So, generically, you would load with your weight and your hands would go back, and at which point you are roughly 75% weight on your backside, 25% on your front side. And that varies from player to player. But there's more weight back than there is forward at that point. You're in a balanced position. As your hands start and you go to hit the baseball, okay, that weight that you have on the backside, in your back hip, let's say, is transferred forward through the baseball, okay? Here's where Garza, Mathis, you're seeing this with some of these hitters, even our boy CJ that we talked about. Here's what's happening. As that weight goes forward, something has to stop it to get you back to balanced. If nothing stops that weight from going forward, it continues to go forward. That's bad because the head and eyes continue to move. Why are we swinging at breaking balls in the dirt? Because the head and eyes have moved 2 to 3 feet. And I can show you video of these hitters and you can look and see how much their head is moving. Imagine trying to read a book that's coming at you 90 miles an hour with your head still. Virtually impossible. Now imagine trying to read that same book with your head moving forward. Or in the hitter's case, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball from 60 feet 6 inches turns into 95 if the head moves 2 feet forward because you've cut down the distance, okay? So the ability to recognize ball or strike is cut in half with the head movement, right? The torque that's created from all that energy being stopped by a force, which in this case is their front leg, is where you get homers. So if you slow-mo a Barry Bonds swing, I like to use Barry because I think he's the greatest to ever swing the bat. His swing is perfect. But if you were to slow-mo Barry Bonds, King Griffey Jr., Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, the list goes on and on, slow-mo their swing and watch what their head does throughout their swing and watch what their front leg does. In some cases, Albert's head actually goes backwards. And I can say this with certainty because I hit with the guy in the cage for a whole year. All he tried to do in the cage when he was hitting was not let his head move an inch. All he wanted, because he knew if his eyes stayed still, he could see the ball better. He also knew if his head stayed back and his eyes stayed still, his weight wouldn't get out on his front side. Now, if you watch the LSU hitters, a video from the side, not all of them, but some of them, the head is moving like 2 feet, 3 feet forward. It limits your ability to have success. You know, Barry said something to me at dinner. This was years and years ago, and it made a ton of sense. And I was picking his brain about hitting, and he said, first off, he was hard to talk to, and he's hard to get to talk about hitting, but I got him one night after a few glasses of wine. He said, Ryan, all I try to do is catch the ball with my left hand. Okay, so he's a left-handed hitter. So that would be his top hand. He tried to catch the ball with the barrel of his hand. And he kind of left it at that. But here's what I know about catching a ball. If you're trying to catch a ball defensively, you always want your eyes behind your glove. You don't want your glove away from your eyes. Harder to see the baseball. Okay? So ground ball, reason why infielders have to get low when they catch ground balls, they're trying to get their eyes and head by their glove. They're trying to read the hop. Double plays. You always want to get the glove behind your eyes. It made sense to me as I started thinking about what he said that night. He wants his eyes and head behind the barrel, and he wants to catch the ball with the barrel of his bat. Real simple. Now, this guy's got 760 whatever homers or 70 homers that he has. He's a monster. When he catches the ball with his barrel, it goes over the fence. I'm not expecting these kids to do that. I couldn't do it, but it's not like I didn't try to do it. My perfect swing was a double. Barry's perfect swing is a ball that's over the fence. So your body allows you to drive the ball over the fence. Why am I encouraged about Garza, Willis, even Mathis? These are big boys. Big, strong athletes. If they can just stay back, just catch it with the barrel, then it happens. You said, well, you want Garza to hit homers. Well, you can't hit a homer on a well-executed pitch. It's impossible. I have this discussion all the time with Little League parents. I want my kid to have more power. I want my kid to okay. Well, two things have to happen if you want to hit the ball over the fence. Number one, your kid has to have a really good swing, which he doesn't. He stinks. And number two, the pitcher has to make a bad pitch. So, yeah, we want to see homers, but the swing's not there, and the pitch may not allow it. And when I talk to Daniel, I'm like, bro, you can't create power. The hitter can't create power. You have to make sure your swing is perfect, and you have to make sure that he makes a bad pitch. And when those two things add up, then you start to see the ball driven over the fence. And it's real simple. What am I seeing with those guys? You talked about Mathis, Garza. Really the two biggest offenders, Mathis and Garza, is the head is moving 1.5, 2 feet as they're firing to the baseball.
This physics lesson is brought to you by Prime Occupational Medicine, 749-5750, or online at primeoccmed.com. That might be the longest consecutively that you have ever spoken in anything we've done together without me interrupting you.
Is that good?
I think. I mean, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it enough just to listen and not say anything.
I don't know if I answered the question, though. I'm thinking about it. Because the question was, how do you fix it?
Well, I think it was good. Stay back. You gave a really detailed answer on that. I think that was really good. Good job. Now tell people about Prime Occupational Medicine. They'll talk about some pitchers.
I want to expand on that, though.
Okay. About on what?
On the how to fix it thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Safety, human resources, corporate planning. You can get it all at primeoccmed.com. Call them at 225-749-5750. If you're a business owner, you want your workforce to be as productive as possible, give Prime Occupational Medicine a call. They can make sure that you're healthy. If you're healthy, you're productive. If you're productive, you're making money. Call the people at Prime OCC Med. Make it happen.
We all are going to get to ask us here in a bit. One more thought you said. We got to move a little quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is good. This is real good. So, yes, you stay back. So stay on your backside, but the hands swing the bat. The hand. So when you're watching this, all right, if you see the front shoulder, watch me. Look at this. If you see the front shoulder do that, then the shoulders are now swinging the bat.
Yeah.
The hands are out of the equation at that point. So if you focus hands and staying back, we got action.
Got it.
Yep.
It's so easy.
It is easy. You just got to look. It's information. You got to know. If you don't know that, then I can't get mad at you if I haven't told you to do that.
Right. Who would you start, Hughes or Broussard at second?
Coin flip.
I agree. Who would you start?
Probably Broussard, better runner.
Let's start with the pitching. Eric Walker was really good on Sunday. What was different in your estimation?
Velo. He's throwing the ball harder. We talked about it. I liked him a couple weeks ago or last week, but you made a great point. Ryan, he's throwing 84 to 86. Like, that's going to get hit.
He hit 88, 89. And he did that after a 90-minute rain delay, but even more so than just that, he didn't walk anybody. And that was a hallmark of Walker a couple of years ago. And he'd been walking guys this year. So we got in trouble against Texas.
Look, 4 or 5 miles an hour change things. When you're throwing 89 as opposed to 84, here's what happens from a hitter standpoint. If you're throwing 84, I can handle your changeup and your curveball and still look for your fastball because the difference in speed just isn't that much. When you're throwing 90 and the breaking ball is 72, 75, that's a big difference. So all pitchers are trying to do, the only thing a pitcher wants to do is get a hitter off balance if he's good. He's not trying to strike him out. He's just trying to get him off balance. I was telling this to a kid last night. A perfect game for a pitcher, a true perfect game, is 27 ground balls to the second baseman. Greg Maddox told me that. He said, my perfect game would be 27 changeups, 27 ground balls to you at second base, and then we go home. So if a pitcher's trying to get you off balance, on the flip side of that, the hitter should be trying to stay balanced when he hits. Now, Eric Walker gives you the ability at 90 to get that hitter off balance. So, for me, that's what you see. When you bump up in velocity 5 miles an hour, look, man, he's a different guy there.
What do you do with, I'm going to go quickly here, what do you do with Landon Marceau and Jaden Hill when they come back?
I think the small sample size with Jaden Hill, we didn't see him very much. We know it was a big arm. I'm not sure that you rush him back with the shoulder. But if he's the Jaden Hill that was...
By the way, we don't know if it's a shoulder. They've just said he has arm soreness. So what does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah. His whole arm, maybe?
I don't know.
What if his whole arm hurt? Like, he was just like, where's it hurt? Does it hurt here? Yep. Does it hurt here? Yeah.
All of it.
Like
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
If he's the guy that he was before, he's starting 100 out of 100 games for me. If he's that guy. That was a dominant, powerful arm, mound presence, whole deal. If he's a version of that guy and Marceau's back who he was, I think it's a toss-up at that point. Marceau in spurts.
Who do you
really
take
good.
out of the rotation now, though? That's your problem.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. No, nobody.
So what do you do with those guys? Middle relief?
Yeah, pitch them a couple innings during the week, midweek, to get their feet under them, and then they're the long guy on the weekend. And what do you do with Mikhail Hilliard? Does he turn into a specialty guy? Do you bring him in to face the big righty? I don't know that there's ever been a specialty righty that doesn't throw a slider. There's a guy throwing cutters, but, does Mikhail Hilliard turn into your eighth inning guy? Your change of pace guy that throw all cutters. Next thing you know, you come back with 95. So yeah, I don't know. It's a good problem to have. Is there enough innings to go around? It's a good question. Here's what I will say, though. Before this year's over, one of those starters is going to miss a start for whatever reason. And now you've got two guys on deck that can go in and give you good innings.
That's provided they come back. The other question a lot of people have asked, what do you do with Todd Peterson now? Fontenot's clear. Look at Georgia. Maneri showed you. It was a 1-0 game going into the ninth after Hess went 8 shutout innings. They gave the ball to Fontenot. It tells you who his guy is, who he trusts. So what do you do with Peterson now?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I think he's kind of in the same boat for me right now with Marceau and Hill if they were healthy. Do you entertain maybe taking Peterson and starting him in midweek to get some innings? Do you try to lengthen him out a little bit? If I had to guess, and I don't know if this is happening or not, but if I had to guess, they're probably playing with that right now in his bullpens. His bullpens may be a little bit different now going in to try to get 3 outs as opposed to try to get 9 outs for you. Does he turn into your middle relief, your long guy? I don't know. He's in a tough spot. And just because Fontenot's the guy right now doesn't mean that he's going to end the year being that guy either.
I agree with that completely. And I think it is completely situational with how Maneri will choose to use the end of his bullpen. All right, let's do some questions. Ask us. If you're watching on Facebook Live, fire away. Ask us or ask Ryan. Anything you want to ask, fire away. A lot of baseball stuff, but this is a segment where you could ask anything about anything. So it's a good opportunity to get those in. Before we get to Ask Us, you want to do one more hit for Prime Occupational Medicine?
Yeah, I love Prime OCC Med. Not just a local company, not just a regional company, but a worldwide company. These guys are doing this all over the world, making sure the workforce is healthy, making sure they're productive, making sure your business is successful. If you're a business owner, give the good people at Prime a call, 225-749-5750. They can make sure it's hitting on all cylinders, or look them up on the web, www.primeoccmed.com. Got to give my man Sean Connor a shout out.
All right, let's see if we get some questions in. Clint Caballero with LSU's hitting issues. Is it all just a symptom of hunt the fastball approach?
No, I think you always hunt the fastball. You never come off the fastball. It's where are you trying to hit the fastball is what the issue is.
Harold Herman asked us, do you think high school pitchers are turning down 7 figures to come to LSU because they know they have arm issues? Meaning like in high school they know they have arm issues.
No, I don't. I think this is something that's magnified in Baton Rouge because we follow LSU, but this is an epidemic that's nationwide.
Justin Nicholson says, I could listen to Theriot talk all day. Dude is a treasure trove of knowledge.
Thanks, man.
Normally they just listen to you tell fart jokes.
Yeah. We didn't do that today.
And talk about Greg Maddux peeing on you.
He did.
Did anybody else pee on you?
Mm-mm.
He's the only one.
Mm-hmm.
You also told the story about Maddux. I don't know if you told me this off air, if you ever told it on air, but about when he would go in the locker room with what he would do with the towels. You want to tell that one?
Yeah. So we'd have 50 towels stacked up. So when guys would take a shower, they just grab a towel when they come out. Well, Maddux would. This is so bad, but so good. I caught him. This is pre-shower. He would take the towels. He'd wipe his butt, like in his butt with the towels, and he'd fold it back up real nice. He'd do like 10 of them.
So people were drying off with Maddux.
Yeah, so you just
in your face.
Butt juice right in your nose.
Did you ever smell it? Like, you think you'd smell it?
I mean, I hope. I saw him doing it, so then I'd go in the training room and get a towel.
Yeah, you get it different.
Yeah.
Okay. Shelby Kelly says Theriot should make an old school hitting video. You should do like the back to back AAU. Who is it? Tommy Mansky. That's what you should do.
He was good. No, I'm doing something right now. Actually.
Oh, really? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm writing a book.
Okay.
In conjunction with a virtual online hitting platform.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Brett DeLatte asked Ryan, since Antoine Duplantis' swing is the most polished on the team, should other hitters be taking notes from him?
He's having a great year. First off. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. I will say that the power surge is 1,000% welcome. I don't know that it plays at the next level, but I will say right now, he seems locked in and he's swinging the bat well. But he's a different hitter. I mean, look, all these guys are different. You can't say, okay, this is what you do well, so let's everybody do that. You have to individually coach the player one guy at a time, and they're all going to do different things. For example, I'll tell you, Daniel Cabrera, just got to know him well. Anytime he tries to pull the ball, you see the strikeouts. When he's trying to go the other way, he hits homers. So,
ask Ryan. We talk about LSU's approach at the plate all the time. What does Ochinko teach them for an approach?
I mean, I think it's something similar. The tough part for Sean, though, man, is, and even any of those guys talking hitting, is you can only do so much. I mean, you can only say so much, and the message can only be delivered so much. And full disclosure, I'm not in the hitters meeting, so I don't know what's being said. But a lot of times, man, a hitting coach is a tough job, and it's really the worst job, hitting and pitching coach, the worst two jobs there. I mean, it's your fault. Every single time it's your fault, and so it makes it difficult, man. It makes it difficult to go out there. I don't know the message.
Let's go rapid fire here. Ask us, is Eric Walker a pro prospect in a new world of power arms?
I think so.
Ask us, over under 6 1/3 tonight for Clay Moffitt against Grambling.
Under.
Ask Ryan, should Hess go back to the bullpen?
No.
Ask us, this is Richard Bruce, for first ever MLB game, do you recommend a quick road trip to Houston next week for the Yankees at Astros, or fly to New York in June for Houston at the Yankees?
I do both.
They're both really good ballparks.
Yeah. Houston was my favorite.
But you had to play with that stupid flagpole in center field.
Mm-hmm.
Ask us, how good was Josh Smith in the field this weekend?
Unbelievable. The backhand People don't realize how hard that play is that he made.
The other part of it, too, is as bad as he was at the plate, and he struggled.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he struck out, I think, 9 times this weekend. He never took the bat into the field.
No.
He was awesome defensively.
No.
Is he a big leaguer?
Man, I think so. I mean, look, a lot of things have to happen for you to be a major leaguer. Stars got to line up, got to be with the right team, all that. He's showed me a lot defensively this year. The only thing that'll slow him down is his speed. I'm sorry.
Ask us thoughts on Acuna getting 8 years, $100 million before he turns 22.
Bad deal for him.
Brett DeLatte asks us, one would agree that Antoine Duplantis has the most polished swing in the lineup. Would it be a good idea if other guys took notes? Oh, well, I think it was the same question we already asked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think he has the most polished swing?
He has the shortest swing. It's short to the ball. I wouldn't say. I mean, he's got a really nice swing, dude. He does. It's really short, easy, repeatable.
2 more. Here's Rick Green. Ask us chances of pulling a hammy running to first on a drop third strike.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, just act like you tripped or something.
And if Henry and Walker continue pitching so well, would you consider moving Hess down, considering the other 2 are more consistent? Meaning, start one of them on Friday.
No,
that's not smart.
Yeah,
it's keep it the way it is because Hess and Henry give you you don't have to know pitching to understand the strategy in college baseball. If you win 2 out of 3 every weekend, you go 20-10 in the conference, you're a national seed. Hess, Henry, trust that in a given weekend, one of those 2 is going to be better than the other guy, and you're going to hit. You're going to win one of those, and Eric Walker gives you an advantage every single Sunday.
I agree.
All right, thanks for coming in, man.
Mm-hmm. No.
It's the Riot Podcast. Y'all share it. We'll see you next week.